this is Pia and you're watching KiniNews. The Dewan Rakyat proceedings today began with questions on the chanting of the takbir at rallies. This came after Viva Palestina Malaysia, the organizer of a pro-Palestine rally on Sunday, came under heavy criticism for allegedly disallowing demonstrators from chanting the takbir.
Home Minister Saifuddin Nasution has stressed that the focus on rallies for Palestine should be on the core issues instead of whether they are allowed to chant the takbir. He was responding to Machang MP Wan Fayhsal, who questioned if takbir was prevented at rallies and if they can't condemn Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Wan Fayhsal had raised the issue following the Viva Palestina Malaysia rally, which was held last Sunday. In his response, Saifuddin said that the chairperson of the rally had not prohibited the takbir chanting, but instead wanted them to use chants that everyone can participate in the spirit of inclusivity. Saifuddin also pointed out that the issue is straying away from the core issue of the Palestinian cause.
Isu pokoknya apa? Isu pokoknya mengeluarkan rakyatnya daripada tanah Gaza sekarang ini yang sedang terkepung. Ini yang dibuat oleh Perdana Menteri. Bertemu Sisi, bertemu Erdogan, bertemu Salman, menjadi koordinator bagi pihak ASEAN. Saya fikir itu. Himpunan Solidariti kita galakkan. Malam ni pun ada juga. Machang elok juga hati sama malam ni. Jadi soal dibenarkan, tidak dibenarkan, takbir dan sebagainya, saya tak fikir itu isu utamanya.
He added that how one organises their rallies is up to their own discretion, and if the Machang MP organises a rally, he can chant the takbir as loud as he wants, and Saifuddin will join in as well. Viva Palestina Malaysia, the organizer of the rally on Sunday, came under heavy criticism for allegedly disallowing demonstrators from chanting the takbir. VPM Chairperson Dr Musa Muhammad Nordin earlier said that although there was no ban on chanting the takbir, participants were told not to isolate non-Muslims.
The police arrested 4 people today, including PSM Chief Dr Michael Jeyakumar, following a row over the eviction of farmers in Tambun.
The eviction of farmers in Kanthan, Tambun turned ugly today, with the police having to arrest 4 individuals, including PSM Chairperson Dr Michael Jeyakumar Devaraj. The 3 others arrested for trying to stop the eviction are PSM Committee member R. Katiges, Perak PSM Youth member P. Kesavan, and a farmer identified as Ho Pontien. PSM Deputy Chairperson S. Aruchelvan said the 4 tried to stop the eviction and were arrested. Meanwhile, PSM has urged Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim to intervene and save the farmers who were facing forced eviction in his parliamentary constituency. Elaborating on this, Aruchelvan said an officer from Anwar's Tambun office was at the site to try and buy it for more time for the demolition, but to no avail. A total of 200 farmers are involved in the farming sector in Kanthan, which is considered to be the single largest vegetable-producing region in the state.
Earlier during the incident, a PSM activist was hurt after being shoved to the ground.
A PSM activist was injured after being allegedly shoved by an officer from the Perak Land and Minerals Office, PTG, near a farm in Kanthan, Tambun this morning. PSM committee member R. Katiges said that the incident occurred after several PTG officers came to the location with bulldozers and excavators to evict 6 farmers. Katiges told Malaysia Kini that there was a commotion when the farmers and activists attempted to stop the PTG officials. The PSM activist Chong Yi Shan suffered injuries to her mouth and nose after she was pushed and fell. According to Katiges, 6 farmers received a notice dated October 13th informing them that their farms are located on land belonging to the Perak Development Corporation and were ordered to vacate within a week. He said the farmers agreed to abide by the order and negotiations that were held. He said the farmers are asking the state government to offer them alternative land since they have worked on the farms for a long time. Katiges added that following the commotion this morning, officers from the Tambun MP and Hulukinta Assemblyperson's officers arrived at the scene.
The call to stand with the Palestinians continues to gain momentum in the capital. Another rally is being held tonight with 20,000 people expected to attend.
Around 20,000 people are expected to join the Malaysia with Palestine rally at Axiata Arena Stadium, Bukit Jalil, Kuala Lumpur tonight. Muslim Youth Movement of Malaysia, ABIM President Muhammad Fayhsal Abdul Aziz said the gathering is scheduled to begin with Maghrib prayers, followed by a Hajat prayer. He said the gathering will focus on the speeches of leaders of NGOs and political parties representing Malaysians, while the highlight will undoubtedly be the speech by Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim himself. He said he hoped the struggle to defend the Palestinian people will continue because this gathering is not the end, and hoped that this struggle will also be welcomed by the next generation so that the Zionist Israeli occupation of Palestine ends. Meanwhile, Malaysian Humanitarian Aid and Relief or MAHA President Jismi Johari said tonight's program was held not only to show Malaysian support for the Palestinians but also to educate the public about the history and development of the conflict that plagued the Middle Eastern country. Jismi said it is a good opportunity to get as much information as possible on the issue so that the public can tell others about why we are standing behind Palestine. He added that the issue is not only a religious struggle, but it also involves issues related to human rights. He said the participants of tonight's rally were encouraged to wear white clothes and wave the Palestinian flag and jalur gemilang as a sign of Malaysia's solidarity with Palestine. The rally, which has ABIM and Global Peace Malaysia as the main organisers, is scheduled from 7:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. and will also involve more than 40 NGOs such as MAHA and the Malaysian Consultative Council of Islamic Organisations.
Meanwhile, the government has been urged to issue a temporary work and stay pass for Palestinian refugees residing in Malaysia.
The All-Party Parliamentary Group Malaysia on Refugee Policy has called on the government to issue a temporary work and stay pass for Palestinian refugees residing in Malaysia. In a statement today, APPGM said this was to ensure protection and assistance for some 800 registered Palestinian refugees in the country, most of whom are from Gaza. Separately, in a press conference in Parliament today, APPGM chairperson Sherlina Abdul Rashid said that the country must be prepared as there's a possibility of a wave of Palestinian refugees being brought in.
It's always a possibility with what's going on with the ongoing conflict. Unless a ceasefire happens soon. But then again, this is where we need to just be prepared.
The APPGM also urged for the passing and commencement of the National Security Council's Directive No. 23 to grant temporary rights to refugees in Malaysia. Last week, Parliamentary Special Select Committee on International Relations and International Trade Chairperson Wong Chen mulled sending a team to the Rafah crossing to vet Gaza refugees. The Rafah crossing is the southernmost exit post from Gaza and borders Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, where Palestinians have been gathering in hopes of escaping.
The IGP has told Malaysia Kini that no report has been lodged over claims of a MP allegedly being blackmailed to support the Prime Minister.
The police have not received any report regarding Kuala Kangsar MP Iskandar Zulkarnain allegedly being blackmailed into supporting Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim. When contacted by Malaysia Kini, Inspector General of Police Razaruddin Hussein said that so far the police have not received any report on this matter. On October 13th, Opposition Chief Hamzah Zainuddin alleged that Iskandar, who is from Perikatan Nasional, had been blackmailed by the government and forced to support Anwar's premiership. This came after the Bersatu MP issued a press statement saying that he now supports Anwar while maintaining his loyalty to his party. Hamzah claimed that Iskandar made the decision after he was taken to a hotel in Damansara where he allegedly met a senior MACC officer and was threatened with corruption charges. The MACC has since denied the allegation. On October 18th, Anwar had also reprimanded Hamzah and told the PN Secretary-General to prove his claim by submitting evidence to the authorities so they could investigate.
The recent directive to refrain from labelling others as kafir, Zionist and Yahudi in Parliament is still stoking strong reactions from several political figures. This includes Zuraida Kamaruddin, who criticized the Dewan Rakyat Speaker for the ruling.
Former Minister Zuraida Kamaruddin has spoken out against the recent ban on using words such as kafir, Zionists and Yahudi against MPs in the Dewan Rakyat. In a statement, she said this was an unfair move that blocked lawmakers' freedom of speech. Zuraida was responding to the directive issued by Dewan Rakyat Speaker Johari Abdul yesterday that MPs will be banned from using derogatory words which include the three mentioned above against their colleagues in the Dewan Rakyat, following several commotions that took place last week. Zuraida called the move shallow and said the word kafir became a polemic in Parliament recently because many MPs lack understanding about the word. The Muafakat Nasional Deputy President further elaborated that the word kafir is an Arabian word used to refer to non-believers, or more precisely, non-Muslims who do not believe what their Muslim counterparts do. Instead of imposing a blanket ban, she said Johari should instead explain the meaning of the word and the context of its usage to all parliamentarians because it was not meant as an insult or curse. For the words Zionists and Yahudi, Zuraida said they are akin to using the words racist, extremists, Taliban and communists, which had been used by both sides before. Zuraida also took a swipe at Johari's performance as Speaker, accusing him of practicing double standards for being too mild with government-aligned MPs and too strict with their opposition counterparts. She went as far as to call for his resignation, saying if Johari cannot be fair to everyone, he should let others who are more worthy take the job. She said although it is deemed rude and vulgar by certain quarters, the voice of MPs should not be restricted as it would cripple the development of the country's democracy.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Pia, thanks for watching.